Hello children, welcome to today's English class. I hope you all are safe, healthy and happy at home. Children, in the past few classes we have been learning some lessons from your prose text, and already we have completed all the lessons of your supplementary text. Now today let us learn some grammar. Children, we have already learned about the tenses and the reported speech. I hope you might have noted down all the points and are looking at those points whenever you are learning your lessons. Today we learn about the subject verb agreement from your syllabus. Children, I have told you before also, this year you will be getting 10 multiple choice questions. In fact, you will be getting 12 multiple choice questions in grammar, out of which you have to attempt 10. So, out of the portion mentioned for you this year in grammar, you will be getting 12 questions and all of them will be multiple choice questions. So, you need to have idea of the syllabus in grammar for you, so that you are able to attempt all the questions and score good marks in grammar. Okay. So, you need to understand the rules of grammar, and that too through practice. You know, you might be having a grammar book with you at home in which there are a lot of exercises. So, through these exercises you must try to understand the rules. So, before we move on, let us try to understand what is subject verb agreement. Okay. Children, you have learnt about subject and verb in your primary and middle classes. Okay. But still let us try to understand very quickly what is a subject. Subject is a person or a thing that is being considered, shown or being talked about. A subject is a person about whom we are talking or mentioning, or anything that is being talked about or considered or shown. Okay. We will be looking into the examples and we will try to understand them better. Now, verb is an action word. Action words are known as verbs. For example, play, jump, stand, speak, cry, laugh, run, all these are verbs. So, we already know what is a subject and what is a verb. Now, what is this subject verb agreement? A subject must agree with its verb. Okay. In English, every sentence has got a subject and a verb. Now, what is the meaning of this sentence, that a subject must agree with its verb? Now, if the subject is singular, the verb will also be singular. Singular subject, singular verb. Now, plural subject, plural verb. Okay. Children, please look at your screen very carefully. Now, let us look at an example. This car moves fast. Okay. Now, let us look at another sentence. These cars move fast. Okay. Now here children, car is the subject, this is the verb, and here again this is the subject and this is the verb. Now when we look at the first sentence, this, and here it is these. Okay. Now this we use for singular, okay, and car. Here it is one car, we are talking about one car. So that is why the subject, so this car is singular, and here the verb move, okay, it is also singular. Children, you might have learned about the singular and plural forms. Even we had discussed when we talked about tenses that the singular form has got s with it. Okay. The monkey jumps, the girl cries every day, Ashok goes for a walk every morning. Okay. My mother cooks food for us every day. If the subject is singular, the verb is also in singular form. Okay. And that is why we had this. And now here, since the subject is plural, cars, okay, so here we have this also in plural. Okay. When the subject is in plural children, the verb is like this, it does not have s with it. Okay. For singular, as I told you, we have s. She runs, he runs, okay. She talks, she writes, they write, you write, the children play. Okay. So the cars move, there is no s here. Okay. So singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. Okay. So this is what is called as subject verb agreement. That means in a sentence the subject must agree with its verb. I hope this is clear to you children. Now let us try to look at some more examples and try to learn the rules of how the subjects and the verbs agree with each other in different types of situation and sentences. Now children, a verb must agree with its subject. Now we use the singular form of the verb with a singular subject and the plural form of the verb with a plural subject. For example, let us look at this table on your screen. This child is very clever. These children are very clever. That book was interesting. Those books were interesting. He has many storybooks. They have many storybooks. He does not work regularly. They do not work regularly. So with the singular form, we have used the child, book, he and he again were the subjects, and the verbs here were is, was, okay, has, does, and here these, those, they, we have used are, were, many and work. Okay. He does not work regularly, they do not work regularly. So we use does with the singular form and do with the plural form. In the same way, has with the singular and have with plural. Was for singular and were for plural. Is and are again, is for singular and are for plural. So you must be very careful about the use of these verbs children. Many a times you make mistakes when you get multiple choice questions or you get options to fill in the blanks. You sometimes get confused with the use of this and these, that and those, and is, are, was, were, especially when you get be as an option in the bracket, be. So, for be you use the forms am, is, are for the present tense and was and were for the past tense. So, please remember this, children, whenever you have be in the bracket. Now, remember that we use am, was, have with I and are, were, have with you. Let us look at the examples. I am / was angry with him. So, if it is in the present tense, we would say I am angry with him. If we are talking about the past tense, we would say I was angry with him. I have a good English dictionary. Again, you are or were late for school. If we talk about the present tense, you are late for school. If we talk about the past tense, you were late for school. You have a good house. So, the use of am, was or have with I and the use of are, were, have with you. We use have, not has, with the following verbs and their negative and question forms. Do, thus, did, will, would, shall, should, can, could, may, might, must, need, dare, ought to, used to. So, with these verbs, children, we use have, not has. Okay? For example, does she have a new frock? We do not have a high school in our village. Did he have his share? I shall have a lot of money next week. But unlike there, it is always followed by a singular verb. With it, we always use the singular verb. For example, it is hot today. It was 7:30 at that time. It has been a mistake. So, children, with it, we always use the singular verb. Now, when two or more singular nouns or pronouns joined by and, they require a plural verb. For example, gold and silver are precious metals. Fire and water do not agree. Are your father and mother at home? He and I were playing. Children, here two or more singular nouns or pronouns, when they are joined with the connector or conjunction and, we use the plural verb. The verb is plural. For example, gold and silver. Two different nouns, gold and silver. But gold, silver, there is a connector in between and, gold and silver. So, when two different nouns or pronouns are connected or joined with and, we use the plural verb. That is why gold and silver are precious metals. We do not say gold and silver is precious metal. Fire and water do not agree. We do not say does not agree. We say do not agree. And are your father and mother at home? We do not say is your father and mother at home. Okay? Next, when two or more singular subjects connected by or nor, we use the singular verb. For example, no nook or corner was left unexplored. Whenever we use or nor, you have to remember, then the verb will be in the singular form. Either the cat or the dog has been there. When we use either or neither, then we use the singular verb. For example, neither praise nor blame seems to affect him. We have used the S form here because we are using the singular verb. I hope you are listening very attentively, children. Let us look at the next example. When the subjects joined by or nor are of different persons, the verb agrees with the nearer. Here what does it mean when we say nearer? Let us look at these examples. Either he or I am mistaken. So, here in this sentence, the verb am is nearer to I than either. Okay? The sentence is either he or I am mistaken, or we have used the connector or. But whether we should use singular or plural verb depends upon the verb's nearness to its subject. Okay, when we use or not. So, either he or I. So, am, the verb is before the subject I. So, with I we use the I singular. So, we use the singular form. I am mistaken. Either you or he is mistaken. Again, he is singular. So, we have used the singular verb is. Neither my father nor I am to blame. So, before am there is I, which is nearer, and I is singular. So, we use am. Now, neither you nor he is to blame. Okay. So, he is singular form. Now, either, neither, each, everyone, many a must be followed by a singular verb. He asked me whether either of the applicants was suitable. Okay. With either, neither, each, everyone and many a we use the singular verb. Neither of the two men was strong. We are singling out the two men. Out of the two we say neither of them is strong. So, we use the singular verb was. Though you might get confused because we are saying two men. Two men are plural, but we are saying was because we are using neither. So, with either, neither, each, everyone and many a children, we will be using singular verb. Each of these minerals is found in India. Every one of the boys loves to ride. Okay. Now, let us look at the next example. Two nouns qualified by each and every. Even though connected by and, we use a singular verb. For example, every boy and girl was given a packet of sweets. So, out of the many boys and girls, we are talking of each and every boy and girl. So, whenever we are using each and every, initially we had looked at one example, children, where when the two different nouns are connected with and, we use the plural verb. Now, here though they are connected with and, but there is each and every. So, each and every means we are talking of every single boy and girl. So, two nouns qualified by each and every, even though they are connected by and, you should not get confused that we have to use the plural form, we will be using the singular verb, like each and every room in the house was clean. Now, let us look at one more example, some nouns which are plural in form, but singular in meaning. Take a singular verb. For example, the news is true, the wages of sin is death, mathematics is a branch of study. So, news, wages, mathematics, physics, whenever we talk of subject like this, which might seem plural to us. Okay? Wages, news, we say the news was not true. We do not use the plural verb, okay, with the words that are plural in form, for example, but they are singular in meaning. The news is true. We do not say the news are true. We do not say mathematics are a difficult subject. We say the news is true. We say the wages of sin is death. Mathematics is a branch of study. Now, let us look at one more example. A collective noun takes a singular verb when the collection is thought of as one whole. Plural verb when the individuals of which it is composed are thought of as. Okay? You all have studied about collective nouns when we talk of groups of things as a whole. For example, the committee. A committee consists of many members. So, when we talk of the committee as a whole, as one, though there are so many members in the committee, when we talk about the committee as one, then we use the singular form. Okay? For example, the committee has issued its reports. Now, the committee is divided on one minor point. Now, but we must be consistent. Thus, we should say the committee has appended a note to its not their report. Okay? So, I hope you have understood the use of the verbs with the subjects when we talk of collective nouns. Now, when the plural noun is a proper name for some single object or some collective unit, it must be followed by a singular verb. Now, when the plural noun is a proper name, okay, when we talk about, for example, the names of books, okay, and some single object or some collective unit is being talked about, then we use the singular verb. For example, the Arabian Nights is still a great favorite. The Arabian Nights is a book, though the name might be in plural, okay, because it consists of lot of stories inside it. But we use the singular verb. The United States has a big navy. Plutarch's Lives is an interesting book. Again, Plutarch's Lives is plural, but we talk about it as a collection of stories. So, when we talk about it as a single object or a collective unit, then we are using the singular verb. Gulliver's Travels was written by Swift. Again, Gulliver's Travels, you might have read, many of you, consists of the journey of or the travels of Gulliver, and it has got lot of stories. It is a collection of stories. That is why, though travels is plural, we write was, not were. Was written by Swift. So, children, let us quickly once again try to understand this. When the plural noun is a proper name for some single object or some collective unit, it must be followed by a singular verb. Now, when a plural noun denotes some specific quantity or amount considered as a whole, the verb is generally singular. For example, 100 paise is equal to 1 rupee. There are 100 paise in 1 rupee. So, though there are 100 paise, we are talking about it as a whole. So, we say 100 paise is equal to 1 rupee. We do not say 100 paise are equal to 1 rupee. Now, 6 kilometers is a long distance. So, we are talking about the distance as a whole, 6 kilometers. So, we say is a long distance. 50,000 rupees is a large sum. We do not say 50,000 rupees are a large sum. 50,000 rupees means you have a bundle in which there are 50,000 rupees, but you are talking about it as a whole, the amount of money. What is the amount of money in the bundle? You are talking about it as a whole. So, you use the singular verb. 50,000 rupees is a large sum. 3 parts of the business is left for me to do. 3 parts of the business. So, we are talking about the business as a whole. So, we say is left for me to do. So, children, I hope you listen to whatever we discussed right now about the rules, true examples of how the subject agrees with the verb in different types of sentences, in different situations, okay, with pronouns, with nouns, okay, when they are collective, when they are singular in number, when they are plural in number. So, how the subject agrees with the verb. So, children, it is very important for you to keep looking at this. I hope you have clicked a picture of the rules which were there on your screen, and you all might be having a grammar book with you at home. You must have a grammar book and a good grammar book, children. Wren and Martin is a very good grammar book. Okay. There are so many grammar books available. So, you must choose a good one and have a book at home, so that you keep practicing the exercises at home. And whenever you are learning grammar, it has to be through practice, through exercises, through sentences. That is why the pattern of question which you get are such that they test your understanding of the concept of various topics in your grammar. Okay. So, as I told you, this year you will be getting multiple choice questions. So, you need to first understand the concept properly and try to use them in sentences. That is very important. You must learn grammar through use. Whenever you are reading storybooks, whenever you are reading newspapers, or even your lesson. So, you need to keep in your mind about the different topics you have in your grammar this year. For example, you are reading a lesson of your text. So, you will see what is the tense being used, okay? Whether the reported speech has been used or the direct speech is there, the words of the speaker. So, you need to understand as you read, okay. So, you must also see about the use of the subject and the verbs, whether they agree, whether the subject is agreeing with the verb in the sentences that you are reading. So, grammar is not something to be done separately from your text or from your exercises. There are exercises in your text too, which has lot of exercises related to the grammar topics of your syllabus. So, you must practice all those exercises. And as I had told you before, children, this year you have your grammar book, Words and Expressions, where you have grammar exercises too and lot of examples are there. So, you must look into your workbook too, so that you understand the concepts better and you are able to write sentences which are grammatically correct. In the next class, I will meet you with a new topic. Until then, take care, stay safe, stay at home.